This year's World's Strongest Man comes from Malaysia. It's 45 years now since the sun set on the British Empire in this part of the world. But even as recently as then, if you wanted to get around the busy, bustling back streets of any town or city, there were only two ways to do it. You either walked or you went like this. But nowadays, in the capital Kuala Lumpur, this is the only way to get about, the only way to avoid the stifling traffic jams. But you really are taking your life into your own hands. Only the very strongest survive. The Met-Trex trophy for the world's strongest man. 5 heats, this is the last one now. 6 strong men in each, 6 events in each, 2 to go through to the final. 8 men are there already, 7 from Europe and 1 from North America. 2 of these 6 will complete the lineup.
Zydrunas Savickas from Lithuania, 27-year-old, 1 meter 90. 145 kilograms.
Johnny Perry, North Carolina, USA. 29 years old, 6'6", 175 kilos.
Jón Valgeir, Iceland, 28, 1 meter 96 centimeters, 162 kilos.
I'm Odd Hogan from Hawaii. I'm 52 years old. 1 meter 93, 135 kilos.
Janne Virtanen from Finland, 33 years old, 1 meter 96 centimeters, 130 kilos.
Dave Warner from Yorkshire in England, 33 years old, 1 meter 85 tall, 135 kilos.
Merdeka Square is where old Malaya meets new Malaysia. The remains of the colonial era contrasting with the huge high-rises that dominate the KL skyline these days. And huge is the task facing these guys in the first event, having to carry those anvils that weigh 120 kilograms, that's 265 pounds each, all the way down the course to this point where they drop them, and they're then confronted by this mammoth tyre, 400 kilograms, that's 880 pounds, to be flipped to the end of the course. Now for Dave Warner, it's his first attempt at World's Strongest Man. Are you a bit daunted by it all?
Yeah, stood next to these guys here. It's an experience in itself, and the next step's to actually compete against them. So fingers crossed I get to the end of this one with a decent score.
Your commentator, who else? Paul Dickinson.
John Valgeir leads out the 6 competitors for this first event. And Valgeir continuing the great tradition of Icelandic strongmen. He's 2 meters tall, a former basketball player, a novice at strongman, so he's got a lot to prove. And next to him, Great Britain's David Warner from Knaresborough near Harrogate in Yorkshire. Finished 4th in Britain's Strongest Man. This is very first World's Strongest Man competition. Next to him, the giant Johnny Perry, by far and away the biggest man. 6'6", weighs about 24 stones. In better shape than he was last year, that is for sure. Next to him, former World's Strongest Man, Jani Virtanen of Finland. He won the title 2 years ago, but last year, of course, he and everybody else lost out to Sven Karlsson. Next is the strongest man in Lithuania, silver medalist in World Championship powerlifting, Zydrunas Savickas, overcoming a severe injury last year where he tore both patella tendons badly. And finally, the 52-year-old Odd Haugen from Norway. Unbelievably, 30 years ago, he won the Mr. Norway bodybuilding title.
Take your grip.
As always, these anvils weighing in at 120 kilos, that's over 19 stones. And the former world's strongest man, Jani Virtanen, away to a flyer. David Warner's not going too badly. Savickas, a Lithuanian, next to Virtanen. And look at that, 5 tyres in a row, but now Virtanen goes into the lead. Johnny Perry of the USA's got a lot of catching up to do. Savikas leading at the moment. Odd Haugen, the veteran, going well, just outside Savikas. Savikas looks as though he's coming away to win this one. He's got one more flip to do. He thought he'd won it. He does win it. And second place is Johnny Perry. Virtanen in third. Dave Warner's fallen behind quite a lot there. But what a start for Savikas. Dave Warner will finish in 5th place. And not a happy baptism in this year's World's Strongest Man for Jan Valgeir of Iceland. That was very tough indeed. But what a performance by Žydrūnas Savikas of Lithuania.
I'm happy. I very nervous before first event, but now I won it and I have chance.
You have chance to win the whole thing, you think?
I have chance to go to final. Maybe it will be first, maybe second, and I hope to be in final.
I was trying not to focus so much on myself, but I was looking at everybody so close. It's a good heat.
You were going so well on the Farmer's Walk.
Yeah, lifted the tyre up and just didn't have much power left in my legs. It's normally a good event for me. I did very well with the tyre in the Britons, but in this heat, it's very hard to get any air in. All the guys are overheating now. They're covered in ice packs and towels and keeping out the sun. But I'll just have to dig in there. I hope that'd have been a better event for me. But never mind.
It's 44 degrees. It's never like that in Iceland, is it?
I don't think I've ever been in 44 degrees in my whole life. This is crazy.
But you have to wonder, would it be any more sensible doing it in Reykjavik in the depths of winter? Anyway, just the 1 point for the Icelander, but 6 for the man from Lithuania. We move across Merdeka Square to the cricket pitch for the second event, the weight throw. Throwing a 4-stone child over a double-decker bus may not be the most politically correct sporting activity, but that's how the strongmen describe this next event, because they have to throw this 56-pound weight as high as possible over that bar. Now, the world record stands at 18 feet 8.5 inches, but get it over 15 and you're doing well.
So here goes David Warner at his opening height. Only 2 attempts allowed for each competitor, otherwise you're eliminated. 4 meters 10, 13 feet 4 inches. He has been practicing this event a little bit, but he hasn't got very much experience at Highland Games, which is where this all started many, many years ago. So here we go, good rhythm. Then you must reach as high as you can. Whoa, that's not a good start for David. And let's hope he doesn't get eliminated at this early stage. He needs the points. He's a good friend and training partner of Mal Kay, who's a long-time supporter of Strongman in Britain. So if you're watching, Mal, come on, let's hear it now for David Warner. Let's get it over. Oh, that was so close. So he's fallen at the first hurdle. He'll only get a single point from this competition. That's very disappointing for David Warner.
I can see you're bitterly upset by that.
Yeah, to put it mildly. I have practiced that. I went to the trouble of having one of those things made, and I don't know what happened there. I felt like I had the height, I just didn't get it going backwards far enough, but it's a difficult thing to do. It's more technical than strength, but back to the drawing board for that one, I think.
Well, Jan Valgeir of Iceland's had to go back to the drawing board. He's got this last attempt from 2 to clear 4 meters 50. Otherwise, he's gone. He's over 6 feet 6 inches tall. He's certainly got the reach, but has he got the technique? Big pull required. Oh, he's blown it. He's absolutely furious with himself, and he's only the second man to be eliminated in this competition so far.
Well, next up, it was Odd Haugen, who, with a bit of help from the bar, made it at 4 meters 50. Johnny Perry needed no such assistance. Look at that, it just flew over. For Savikas, not perhaps quite so impressive, but clear nonetheless. But here was a former world's strongest man really suffering. Jani Virtanen eliminated at 4.50, and 4th place was his. Bad mood at the moment?
Yeah.
representing the United States.
Good mood later.
Johnny Perry.
And one throw later, it was the end of Odd Haugen. He couldn't make it at 470.
Johnny Perry of the United States now. Just 2 men left in the competition. Savikas of Lithuania. And this guy, he really is a man mountain. He looks a lot fitter than he did last year, that's for sure. 175 kilos in body weight. That is an absolutely phenomenal body weight to be at. But is it going to help him in this event? He's got to be explosive. Long pull, and he's got it by a mile. That was superb for the American. So Savikas has to follow that. He reaches as high as he can possibly go. You can't do better than that. Zydrunas Savikas now of Lithuania to see if he can match Johnny Perry's performance, which really was superb. Now, Savikas a little bit shorter than Johnny Perry by a good couple of inches, so that might be a disadvantage, but being a silver medalist in World Championship standard powerlifting does make him a real contender, that's for sure. Oh, that was close. He only missed out there by about an inch. Now he has to take his second effort very quickly. Let's see if we can spot anything wrong with the technique. Not really. Not a lot wrong with that. It almost had the height, but not the depth to go over the bar. So this to match the American, and then the bar will go up once more. The crowd getting behind the Lithuanian. Oh, that was close again. And unfortunately, Savikas will finish in second place. Victory goes to Johnny Perry.
A wry smile from the man from Lithuania. Second spot for him. Utter dismay, though, for David Warner, who failed to record a single throw and so got no points. It means that Savikas and a philosophical Perry are now clear at the top.
It's fun. I mean, I love this. If I was in last place, I'd still be having a ball. It wouldn't matter at all. This is just, I mean, I can't blame nobody else. I can just, if I don't win, it's my fault. And this is great. It's a great sport in the world to me.
Are you in much better shape this year than you were last?
I'm about 15 kilos heavier, but a lot less body fat. So I feel good, strong, and just not so nervous. I'm more relaxed, and hopefully it's going to do well for me.
This is the part of KL where you can shop, drink and eat till you drop. Restaurants from every part of the world in all the streets around here. I'm sure you can get fish fingers somewhere, but you'll struggle to get any Fingal's fingers. 5 massive rods of iron from 200 to 300 kilograms, that's 440 to 660 pounds, to be lifted up and pushed over as quickly as possible. Everybody's going to get 3 up and over, most will get 4, but it's this guy, the huge 5th one, that's going to sort the men from the boys.
Giant Jan Valgeir of Iceland. Now we think he's going to be well suited to this event. He hasn't done it before, but at 6 feet 6 inches tall, that will be an advantage over David Warner. But David Warner enjoying himself here in KL, and he'll have a lot of support as well. Needs the points. He's in 6th position at the moment. So here we go. Warner and Valgeir up on the chest. It's the Icelander who's just a fraction ahead. The next one weighs 225 kilos. That's near 500 pounds. Well, the grip's so important. The Icelander even further ahead now of David. And as John was saying earlier, everybody we accept will get 3. Then it's a real test. Valgeir moves on to 275 kilos. Warner still on number 3. Valgeir, well, a baptism of fire in his first event, but he's coming on strong here. Now, come on, David. You can do with number 4. Easy does it. I don't think he's going to go any further than that one. So 3 by David Warner. Valgeir now going for number 5. It'll be a great performance if the Icelander can do it. And especially if he can get under a minute, it's going to be close. He's got it, 59.36. And I tell you what, that is going to be hard to beat. That is his best performance so far.
That makes you feel better, doesn't it?
Yeah, a little bit. I wasn't sure about this event, but I got my craziness up. Went a little bit crazy.
That's what got me along. I was going to first 2 events, bad for me, and then I had to prove myself worthy to be here. So I'm happy.
Janne Virtanen, as a former champion, has got a lot to prove now. He's alongside Odd Haugen, this amazing 52-year-old. And what a performance by Jan Valgeir of Iceland. 5 fingers in 59.36. So here we go. As always, we've been saying that height is important, and Janne Virtanen, 6 feet 6 inches tall, but Odd Haugen just a little way behind him. Virtanen is absolutely tearing through the course at the moment. Odd Haugen on to number 3 as well. This one weighs 250 kilograms, way over 550 pounds. This one, another 25 kilos heavier. So Janne Virtanen at last coming to life here in this competition. Odd Haugen going well, going up towards 40 seconds now, and Virtanen's got a problem. He's got a real problem here. He really has got a problem, I think, with his knee or his hip. Odd Haugen gives up at that point. He's only got a score of 3. But the story here is about the former world's strongest man, Janne Virtanen of Finland. That is severe, and I just wonder if it's as bad as it looks, whether he's going to take any further part in this competition. We could have seen the last of Janne Virtanen, and all the other competitors, including David Warner, will be watching this very, very closely indeed. We'll keep you updated as soon as we can. There is Zydrunas Savikas alongside Johnny Perry, who's raring to go.
Get ready!
Savikas in the grey, Johnny Perry, the multicoloured headband and the shades as well, and Perry in the lead. But only just. It's still Jan Valgeir of Iceland. 5 of Fingal's fingers in 59.36. But both men here are on to number 3, and it's under 20 seconds. This is phenomenal. Johnny Perry just ahead of Savikas. Both men driving that pole up. It's about 5 meters in length. And now onto the giant 300-kilogram one. And Savikas is catching. This is phenomenal. Can he catch the American? It's neck and neck all the way. This is brilliant stuff. Oh, sort that out. Savikas may have just got it by a whisker. That is fantastic head-to-head competition, and that's just what World's Strongest Man needed. But I wonder who won. I don't know.
Fantastic race, guys. Who won?
I haven't heard you.
I see that 1 centimeter I will be quickly, but it's
Maybe not.
But were you watching him, or were you just watching your own?
I don't know. Maybe a little bit watching you.
Just a 1/10 of a second in it at the end. Perry taking the 6 points ahead of Savikas. For David Warner, just 1 point at the bottom. Virtanen finishing 4th, but a torn thigh muscle forced him to retire. As far as the Englishman's concerned, though, it's a tough old learning curve. What lessons are you learning about the difference in overall quality between domestic competition and the world competition?
The standard's amazing. The difference between some of these guys and a lot of the boys we've got back home is phenomenal. Sorry, lads. But I did as well as I could do on that. It does definitely suit the taller guy, and I'm just a shaving under 6 feet in height, so never mind. Hopefully, if I get this far again, I'll be drawn with some shorter men.
George Orwell was writing a futuristic novel today, he'd call it not 1984, but 2010, because that's when the most modern city in the world, Putrajaya, will be completed here just outside Kuala Lumpur. A city built from scratch to almost the size of Leeds in less than 15 years. And it's here that we find the next event, the carpool. 2 vehicles, each weighing 1,500 kilograms, to be pulled up the hill in a race as quickly as possible towards the brand new spanking presidential palace.
And because Virtanen is out, David Warner has to go on his own. Now then, this is going to be tough. I tell you what, if the organisers could have made something more difficult than this, I'd be surprised. The first time we've ever had a carpool uphill. But David Warner is going well. This is much, much better from the Yorkshireman. He's slowing just a little bit. He's got about 5.5 metres to go. Now, come on, David. Keep pulling with the arms. Keep driving with the legs. Lean into it. Use your 20 stone of body weight. 3 metres to go. He's come to a bit of a grinding halt here. David Warner needs good points. He's just about there. Just over 33 seconds. He hasn't heard the whistle. 33.15. He's going to have to wait and see, but that was a little better from David Warner.
I quite enjoyed that. It was hard. Started off really, really easily, and then all of a sudden, gravity takes over and boom. And I feel like the hill's going like that, getting steeper and steeper. But no, it's a good event. I hope the people at home appreciate how steep that slope is.
Well, Odd Haugen certainly did. Just 11.65 metres for the veteran, after which a pulled calf muscle ruled him out of the competition. And John Valgeir from Iceland, 32.35 for him. Pretty good.
I'm getting there. One day, I'll be here in the final.
Well, you're not out of it yet.
What?
You're leading this at the moment.
Really? Oh, that's a pleasant surprise. I'm flabbergasted.
Well, it certainly looks as though we're looking at the two favourites to go through the final, despite the fact there are still 3 events to go. Savikas on the far side, and Johnny Perry, here we go. Flat out sprinting, dragging 1,500 kilos, over 3,000 pounds, and look at Johnny Perry go. Down on their marks, just like American footballers, in the set position. And this is neck and neck once again, just as it was in Fingal's fingers. Savikas has just got the edge, he's going to win it. And look at the time, 21.01. That is phenomenal once again. And Johnny Perry in close contention. 2 great performers.
Well, the Monopolies Commission will have to investigate this heat because Savikas and Perry have taken a complete stranglehold on it. First and second place again for the two of them. They're miles clear of the rest, and with Haugen and Virtanen retiring, they're both now into the final. Did you dream of getting to the final?
Yeah. It's my dream, but now my dream, good start in final.
And to win?
See in final.
I can't wait. It's great to be here. Definitely great to be one of the top 10 in the world. So, looking forward to it.
For our next event, we stay in Putrajaya. It's the giant log lift that actually weighs 380 kilograms, but the weight they have to push up is 125.
David Warner, as a former bodybuilder, could do well here. He's got fantastic development. He has massive shoulders and arms. Did pretty well in this competition, in Britain's Strongest Man. The effective weight bearing down on the shoulders, around 19 stone, just to give you some idea. This is not easy. None of these events are easy. Look at the size of the log behind his head as well. He's going well on 6, now 7. A lot to prove in his very first World's Strongest Man competition, and what a setting for the giant log lift. Now he's got 10. This is a good effort by Warner. Drive it up. No, he won't be given that one. He's going to have to go again. Come on, David, you can still do it. Oh, that's it. But a good effort by the Knaresborough man. David Warner applauding himself and enjoying himself in this heat of Kuala Lumpur.
Not bad.
No, well, it's the same log we did at the Britons. I did one more rep. So at least I've got better at something this year.
And Warner was still leading after the Icelander went. John Valgeir managing 8 repetitions.
Here goes Savikas. Lithuania's pride and joy in this World's Strongest Man competition.
1.
That was 1, very easy.
2, a bit lower.
A little bit lower there, Dougie Edmonds said, and he hasn't given him that one. So he lost a repetition. That could be crucial. And remembering, of course, that Johnny Perry is yet to go.
6.
I must admit, when I saw the lineup of all the events, I was wondering whether Savickas would be any good at this. He's a good power lifter, but that doesn't involve any lifting overhead. But now he's drawn level with David Warner and gone ahead of him. So the Briton in second place at the moment. Savickas going for number 13, and he's got it. Savickas now 14 repetitions. That will put the pressure on the American. A little smile from the Lithuanian. The giant log lift lifted 14 times by a man with arms like tree trunks as well. Terrific effort.
Well, if you wanted further proof that these two in this heat were inseparable, Johnny Perry also managed 14 repetitions, which meant the two of them had to share the points, 5.5 apiece. A good performance by David Warner there, but he was with the also-rans, as Perry and Savickas continued their relentless march to the final. And so beneath the Petronas Towers, the world's tallest buildings, the world's most famous strongman event, the Atlas Stones. Could they separate these two men of steel?
This final pairing is so intriguing. Perry with the headband and Savickas. Each of them has 2 single victories and a first equal in this heat. So the psychological edge for both of them going through to the final, if they can win this one, well, who knows, it could be decisive. But let's just sit back and enjoy it. Perry, the giant American. Savickas, the rock-hard Lithuanian. Johnny Perry, 6 feet 6 inches tall. Hoist that stone onto his shoulder so easily. Savickas about a second or 2 behind the American at the moment. Johnny Perry, he's holding nothing back. He's safely through to the final, but he wants this one as well, just to put Mr. Savickas in his place. High on the chest, roll it over. That is number 4 now for the 160 kilogram stone. Savickas has got number 4, so he's going for the big one as well. Johnny Perry, can he get his arms round it? That is tremendous. And now we know that this fella is a real contender for the final. He's going to be joined by Lithuania's powerlifting champion, Savickas. The two of them have been fantastic competitors during this heat, way better than anybody else.
Well, Johnny Perry, 5 stones in 41.84, putting down a marker for the final. There's confirmation of his and Savickas' complete domination of this heat. And there is the lineup for the final of the Metrex Trophy for the world's strongest man. 8 men from Europe, 2 from North America. Johnny, many congratulations on getting to the final. You'll be immensely proud to fly the Stars and Stripes there, I know. And a lot of people think you might be a serious contender. I tell you what, though, I've been under Chinatown and I've picked up some amazing...
Don't even go there.